Okay, we're back with another Bloomburrow spoiler here. We got Maha, its feathers knight, creature elemental bird, 6/5 for 19 mana with flying and trample. Before we get into what the card actually does, do a little bit of story time here. Tell you what makes this guy special in the lore at least. So I thought this was kind of interesting. It is a calamity beast. And so calamity beasts are pretty much elemental creatures from the realm of Bloomburrow. And they're essentially living seasons. So basically, Bloomburrow does not have seasons like Earth does. It has seasons that are brought on by calamity beasts, such as this creature here. So there's the difference, like there are major calamities and minor calamities. Minor calamities are the closest thing to having seasons like Earth does. For example, the Sun Hawk is known as the harbinger of summer. So then we have the major calamities that only happen once per generation. So according to the lore, this thing only moves through the world every so often, and it brings about major calamity and destruction. Well, how does the card do that, though? So let's look at what it actually does. It is Ward, drain 12 mana. At the beginning of your turn, if your opponent controls a reinforced creature or a creature with base 3 or less, all opposing creatures get -3/-3. I'm going to put on my player hat for a sec here. For something that's supposed to be so calamitous and really bring out a lot of death and destruction, I don't think all opposing creatures getting -3/-3 really do that for me. This card, I can make a major change to it that would actually make it playable, and that would be this. Just delete that entire part of the text from the card. All of a sudden, it's definitely more playable. I mean, all opposing creatures getting -3/-3 every turn, of yours at least, is going to make a difference overall. And, it's got ward, so it's not that easy to get off the board. But if you're not playing with untargeted removal of some sort, then you should really reconsider how you're building your decks, because there are so many cards that if you're only using targeted removal against can be a real problem. I'm not saying you shouldn't use targeted removal, but to me, untargeted removal in the current meta is far superior. So let's go back to this here. So it costs 19 mana for a 6/5 with flying and trample. If your opponent is not playing a bunch of creatures, that's way too steep of a cost. That if your opponent has no cards on their side, it's a little bit too vanilla for me. If your opponent is controlling a bunch of reinforced creatures or creatures with base toughness 3 or less, you're going to want to just eliminate them quickly. You're not going to wait turn after turn for this to slowly whittle them away. But yeah, you would rather play Rakdos than this card if you're using it for removal. And Rakdos is the same power, and it's going to keep growing in size. So I personally don't see this card making the cut in a lot of my decks. If you happen to pull this card early on and you're a newer player, I could definitely see it doing well for you there. But in Platinum tier, this is nowhere near as powerful as tier 1 creatures. So yeah, it's fine if you're early in your journey through this game, but I think as you get stronger and stronger creatures, you'll probably not use this one for too long. But, in silver, maybe even in gold, this card could probably hold its own. So that's my assessment of it. As always, even if I don't love the card, I love being able to share them with you, and I appreciate Webcore giving me a chance to do so. Is there something that I'm missing about this card that you think will be really powerful? Do you see some sort of combo that I'm not really looking into? What do you think of the lore? Do you think they did it justice with this card? As always, I definitely consider differing perspectives. Yeah, let me know if I am off base here or am I spot on. All right, looking forward to the next set and many more cards to look at with the rest of you. See you next time.